Have you ever felt that cold, sudden grip in your chest when a police officer's eyes meet yours, and instead of the stern, assessing gaze you expect, they offer a small, seemingly genuine smile? In that heartbeat, your brain scrambles. Is it a trick? A prelude to something worse? Are you being sized up, or is it just a moment of human kindness? I've been there, as a traveler, as a researcher, and as someone who has spent countless hours talking to lawyers and law enforcement about what really happens in these charged, silent exchanges. That smile is one of the most misunderstood signals in the world of authority and public interaction. It can be a weapon of compliance, a tool of deception, or a simple moment of grace. But your response in that exact moment can dictate everything that happens next. So, let me ask you this directly, because your experience matters. What is the very first thought that flashes through your mind when an authority figure in a uniform smiles at you in a controlled environment like an airport? I want you to really think about it, and I want you to share that honest, gut reaction answer in the comments below. Go ahead and tell me. It's a crucial piece of this puzzle, and I'll be reading every one of them. But stick with me, because after you've shared that, I'm going to walk you through a reality that most people never see coming, explained to me by a lawyer who specializes in exactly these kinds of high-stakes, split-second encounters. What you're about to learn isn't just theory. It's a form of verbal judo that can protect you, change the trajectory of an interaction, and give you back a measure of control when you feel you have none. Let's pull back the curtain on that smile. In the world of law enforcement and security, especially in places like airports where federal jurisdiction and immense pressure mix, nothing is ever just casual. A smile from a TSA officer, a CBP agent, or an airport police officer is a piece of nonverbal communication loaded with potential meanings. It could be a technique taught in de-escalation training, meant to put a nervous passenger at ease to see if their behavior changes. It could be an officer having a genuinely good day, a moment of humanity in a stressful job, or, and this is the possibility you must be prepared for, it can be a tactic to get you to lower your guard, to encourage you to volunteer information you wouldn't otherwise, to create a false sense of rapport that makes you more likely to consent to a request you have every right to refuse. The smile disarms. It signals, I'm friendly, we're on the same side, you can talk to me. And that's where people, even innocent law-abiding people, get into trouble. They start chatting, they over-explain, they try to be helpful or likable. They see the smile as an invitation to converse, and in doing so, they can inadvertently hand over the very pieces of information that can turn a routine check into a protracted, stressful investigation. Think about the last time you went through airport security. You're in that vulnerable state, shoeless, beltless, your possessions in a tub, being scanned by machines you don't understand. Your normal social boundaries are gone. A uniformed TSA officer looks at your ID, looks at you, and gives a quick smile. Heading somewhere fun? They ask. It feels like small talk. It feels normal, so you answer. Yeah, off to visit family for a week. Simple, right? But you've just confirmed your travel duration. If anything else flags, that's a data point. Or maybe you're at customs after an international flight, exhausted. The CBP officer smiles sympathetically as he flips through your passport. Long flight, huh? What were you doing in country? That smile makes it feel like a casual question from a fellow traveler, not an official interrogation. So you elaborate. Oh, just a mix of business and pleasure, you know. Had a few meetings, but managed to see the sights. Without that smile, the question feels more formal, and you might stick to the script. Business. Period. The smile lubricates the flow of information from you to them. And once that information is out, you can't take it back. Any inconsistency, even an innocent one, becomes a red flag. This is where the lawyer's advice comes in, sharp and clear. He told me, in no uncertain terms, that in any consensual encounter with law enforcement or security, where you are not under arrest or legally detained, your primary goal is to be polite, passive, and reveal absolutely nothing. Your secondary goal is to ascertain immediately whether you are free to go. The smile is often the opening move. Your counter move is critical. So, what are the 5 words? They are simple, powerful, and must be delivered with calm, respectful neutrality. Am I free to go, officer? Now, I can already feel the resistance. It sounds confrontational. It sounds like something a guilty person would say. It feels rude, especially in response to a smile. This is the single biggest psychological hurdle you have to overcome. We are socially conditioned to be agreeable, especially to authority figures. We are conditioned to see a smile and reciprocate. We want to be seen as cooperative, as good people. Law enforcement and security personnel rely on this conditioning. It is their most effective tool. The lawyer explained that by asking this question, you are doing several profound things at once, all legally and strategically. First, you are changing the nature of the interaction from a consensual chat to a defined legal situation. You are forcing the officer to either confirm that you are indeed free to leave, which ends the encounter on your terms, or to articulate a reason for detaining you. If you are free to go, you say, "Thank you, have a good day," and you walk away. Politely. You've just exercised your rights without drama. If you are not free to go, you have just established a crucial legal boundary. The officer must now have what's called reasonable articulable suspicion that you are involved in criminal activity to detain you. By asking the question, you have made that threshold visible. You have also signaled in the clearest possible terms that you know your rights and that you are not going to voluntarily participate in a fishing expedition. This often changes the entire dynamic. Officers are less likely to push boundaries with someone who demonstrates this awareness. The smile, if it was tactical, will likely vanish, replaced by a more formal, procedural demeanor. And that's fine. That's what you want. You want the interaction to be purely legal and procedural, not personal and social. Let's apply this to a real heart-pounding airport scenario. You're waiting at your gate. A police officer, maybe part of an airport interdiction unit, walks up to you. He's not TSA. He's a sworn law enforcement officer. He sits down near you, gives you a smile. "That's a nice bag. Mind if I ask where you got it?" He's friendly. He's making conversation. Your instinct is to be friendly back. "Thanks. I got it online, actually, from this little shop in Portland." You've just engaged. Now the hook is set. "Portland? Nice. Heading there?" "No, heading home to Chicago." "Chicago. Great city. So you just visiting here? What brought you to town?" And on it goes. Each innocent answer gives him more data to probe, to look for nervousness, for inconsistencies. Before you know it, he's asking if you wouldn't mind showing him what's in the bag. Just to be safe, you understand. And because he's been so nice, so smiley, so normal, you feel like saying no would be weird, would make you look guilty. So you consent. You have just given up your Fourth Amendment protection against unreasonable search and seizure. He no longer needs probable cause because you said yes. Now replay that scene with the 5 words. Officer smiles, comments on the bag. You look at him calm and say, "Am I free to go, officer?" The script is shredded. He cannot continue the friendly charade. He must now either say yes, in which case you gather your things and leave the area, or no. If he says no, you follow up with, "Can you please tell me why I am being detained?" He is now obligated to provide a reason. We've had reports of thefts in this concourse, and you match a description. That's a detainable reason. At that point you say, "I do not consent to any searches. I would like to speak to a lawyer, please." And then you stop talking. You have invoked your Fifth and Sixth Amendment rights. You have walled yourself off legally. The encounter is now on a formal track. It may still be stressful, but you have not volunteered anything that can be used against you, and you have not given up any constitutional protections. The power of the smile has been completely neutralized. But here's the deep, nuanced truth the lawyer stressed. The delivery is everything. You cannot say these words with anger, with fear, with sarcasm, or with a challenge in your voice. That will escalate the situation. You must say them with the same neutral, polite tone you might use to ask a store clerk if they have an item in the back. It is a simple question about your status. Practice it. "Am I free to go, officer?" Say it out loud until it feels natural, until the social anxiety of saying it dissipates. You are not being rude. You are being precise. In the context of the law, precision is respect. You are respecting the officer's role by engaging with him on the proper legal footing, not on a misleading social one. This principle extends far beyond a random police encounter at a gate. Let's talk about the TSA checkpoint, a place of unique psychological pressure. You are essentially presumed guilty until the machines and pat-downs prove you innocent. A TSA behavioral detection officer, BDO, might be observing the lines. Their entire job is to look for micro-expressions, for behaviors that deviate from the norm. A smile from one of them, or from an officer who pulls you aside for a random additional screening, is a core part of their protocol. They are trained to put you at ease to observe how you react. If you are nervous because you're running late or just hate flying, their smile and gentle questions are designed to see if your nervousness decreases, because a truly threatening person's anxiety might increase when engaged by authority, or if you start talking too much to cover your nerves. If you respond to their friendly, smiling approach by chattering, "Oh man, I'm always so nervous at these things. I swear I emptied my pockets. Is it my belt? I can take it off again." You have given them a behavioral marker. You have become interesting. You have justified the extra scrutiny in their mind. In this scenario, your response is slightly different but rooted in the same principle. For TSA, whose legal mandate is administrative search for security, you cannot refuse the screening if you want to fly, but you can control the conversation. Officer smiles and says, "Just a random check, sir. How's your day going?" You smile back politely but say nothing about your day. You say, I understand. I will comply with the screening procedure. Full stop. You have acknowledged their instruction, affirmed your compliance, but offered zero personal information. You have not fed the behavioral analysis machine. You remain a blank slate. If they ask a direct security-related question like, did you pack your bags yourself? You answer directly and truthfully, yes. If they ask a non-security, personal question prompted by a smile, you have the right to remain silent, or you can politely deflect. I'd prefer to just focus on the procedure, thank you. It feels awkward, I know. It feels against every social bone in your body. But you must reconfigure your thinking. The security checkpoint is not a social venue. It is a legal and administrative filter. Your rights to privacy and against self-incrimination still exist, even as you submit to the lawful pat-down or bag search. The lawyer walked me through the legal bedrock of this. The Supreme Court has consistently ruled that a consensual encounter with police can become a detention without the person realizing it. An officer's demeanor, their blocking of your path, the tone of their questions, can all make a reasonable person feel they are not free to leave, even if the words, "you're under arrest," are never spoken. Your question, "Am I free to go?" is the litmus test. It resolves the ambiguity on the spot. It is your shield against the slow creep of detention. And that smiling approach? Courts have often viewed a friendly demeanor as more conducive to a consensual encounter, which makes the individual's feeling of being trapped harder to prove later. By asking the question, you create a bright line. You are building your own legal record in real time. Let's delve into the mind of the officer for a moment. Why the smile? Beyond tactics, it's often about stress management for them. Their job is to interact with hundreds of people a day, most of whom are anxious, irritated, or scared. A default smile can be a coping mechanism, a way to keep the atmosphere from boiling over. They are human. The problem for you, the traveler, is that you cannot afford to guess which smile you're getting, the human one or the tactical one. You must have a single, safe response that works for both. Treating every smile as tactical might make you seem paranoid, but having a standard, polite procedure protects you in all cases. If the officer was just being human, your calm, legalistic question will not offend a professional. They will recognize it as someone who knows the drill, and they will simply answer it. If the smile was tactical, you have just disarmed their primary tool. Either way, you win. I need to warn you about a very specific high-pressure airport scenario, the customs secondary screening room. You're back in the US through the primary kiosk and your receipt gets a big X or you're waved to the side. You're led to a sterile, windowless room with hard chairs. A CBP officer takes your passport and disappears. Another officer might sit near you, smile, and strike up a conversation. Rough flight? I hate those red eyes. Where'd you come in from? The atmosphere is designed to isolate and disorient. The smile here is a classic interrogation technique, used the world over. The goal is to build rapport, to get you to see the officer as an ally in a confusing situation, to get you talking, any talking, because in that room, anything you say can be used to not only deny you entry, but to seize property, impose fines, or even arrest you. The legal standard here is different. You have fewer rights at the border, but the principle of not volunteering information remains paramount. In this scenario, you are likely not free to go. They have your passport, so the 5 words morph. You ask, "Officer, am I being detained?" If yes, you say, "I wish to remain silent. I would like to speak to a lawyer." Then you do exactly that. You shut down. You answer no questions about your travel, your purchases, your contacts. You sit silently. It will be intensely uncomfortable. The smiling officer may act disappointed, even offended. "I'm just trying to help you out here. If you cooperate, we can get this sorted quickly." That is a pressure tactic. The quickly is a lure. Do not bite. Silence is your absolute right, and in that room, it is your strongest shield. Any explanation you offer, no matter how innocent, can be twisted, misconstrued, or used to find an inconsistency with your paperwork or your later statements. The consequences of misunderstanding a smile, of playing the friendly game, can be severe and life-altering. The lawyer shared a case that wasn't about drugs or smuggling, but about currency. A traveler returning from abroad had a little over $10,000 in cash, which must be declared. He knew this. He intended to declare it. In the primary line, he was nervous. The CBP officer smiled warmly. "Welcome home. Anything to declare?" The traveler, put at ease by the smile, said, "Just some gifts, some clothes, you know." He didn't mention the cash. The smile had made it feel like a casual question. The officer's smile never faded. "Okay, have a good day." But as the traveler walked away, relief flooding him, another officer tapped his shoulder. "Sir, can you come with us, please?" They had run his bag through a scanner after he left the booth. They found the cash. Because he had verbally denied having anything to declare when asked directly, he was now facing seizure of all the money, a hefty fine, and potential criminal charges for bulk cash smuggling. Had he treated the smiling officer's question with legal seriousness, he would have stated, formally, "I am declaring over $10,000 in currency." The smile disarmed him into informality, and it cost him dearly. This is the core of the lesson. The legal world and the social world operate on different codes. A smile is social code for friendly, safe. In a legal security context, that code can be co-opted. You must learn to speak the legal code in response. Your words must be chosen for their legal clarity, not their social warmth. This feels alien because it is. We live most of our lives in the social realm. But in the realm of state authority, especially at ports of entry, you must be bilingual. You must be able to switch codes instantly. Now let's talk about the aftermath of using these 5 words. You ask, "Am I free to go, officer?" And he says yes. What then? You leave. Do not linger. Do not make a comment. Do not sigh in relief audibly. You say, "Thank you." And you walk away at a normal pace to a populated area. You have exercised a right successfully. Feel the confidence that brings, but do not let it turn into arrogance. The goal is not to win a confrontation. The goal is to avoid one entirely. If the answer is no, you are being detained. You have now activated the next layer of your defense. You state your desire for a lawyer and your right to remain silent. And then you wait. It will be slow. It will be intimidating. They may try every trick to get you to talk. The good cop with the smile, the bad cop with the scowl, the false promises, the implications that silence looks guilty. In the words of every competent lawyer, silence cannot be used against you in a court of law. Chattering, lying, or contradicting yourself absolutely can. Remember, the initial smile is the opening gambit. It's the first move in a game you didn't choose to play. By responding with your 5-word question, you are declining to play their game and instead insisting on playing by the constitutional rulebook. You are moving the interaction from a subjective, emotional plane to an objective, legal one. This is your superpower. As you move through airports, through life, be observant, see the patterns, watch how officers interact with people, you'll start to see the smile deployed again and again. You'll see people disarmed by it, laughing nervously, offering up their life story. Now you know better. Your knowledge makes you a more difficult subject for a casual, exploratory encounter. Officers are looking for the path of least resistance, for the person who will willingly open up. By being politely, resolutely inert, a legal black box, you are no longer that path. So the next time you see that uniform and you see that smile, I want you to feel a different kind of calm. Not the false calm of being disarmed, but the true calm of being prepared. Take a breath, make polite eye contact, and ask your question. Let the legal landscape become clear. Your journey, your liberty, and your peace of mind may very well depend on this one simple, practiced phrase. It's not magic. It's not a get-out-of-jail-free card. It is the intelligent application of your rights in a moment designed to make you forget you have them. That's the real secret, the lawyer explained. And now, it's yours.